Okay. I don't think Annie can hear us yet. All right. Anyway, let me go to. I'll start with Lisanne. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, and normally I would say, what did you do today? But I'm going to change that a bit. And what will you do on Tuesday, the Autumn Moon Festival?
Tomorrow I'm going to make some mooncakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just eat mooncakes, eat some delicious fruits, and have a big banquet.
Oh, okay. So how many people will be at the banquet?
2 of us, my husband and I.
Okay, so it's a banquet with a lot of food for 2 people. Okay.
Yeah, but the dishes will be more than the everyday supper.
Yeah. Okay. Before I go on, Annie, can you hear us?
It's like you have problem with phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm driving today, but if anything, yeah, let me just call me. I try to.
Okay.
But training is also should be good.
Okay.
But one thing I mentioned to the group, to this group, in the WeChat group is that, so I want to limit like everyone like to answer the question up to 5 sentences. So sometimes I know we are very passionate, we want to talk more, but we have to be like a really balanced.
Respectful, yeah.
So just yeah, one thing I already let everyone know in the WeChat group. So Phil, yeah, I just want to let you know too. I already tell the students about that.
Okay.
So we can, yeah, if someone taking too long, yeah, we can just maybe give them a little, like tell them, oh, okay, we can move on to the next person. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One concern I had was like I felt bad about it, but Jaja was talking a lot, and I kind of cut her off because other people were trying to talk, and then she just dropped off, and I emailed her to see if everything was okay. She hasn't responded, so I don't know. All right.
I think she probably just didn't check email much. Yeah. I haven't heard any complaints from her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it may have seemed rude. I don't want to be rude to anyone. Sometimes though, if one person is talking, I do need to stop other people from talking over them. And I know it's a habit that a lot of us have. We tend to talk over other people. So, all right, Annie, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
good. All right, let me go to Grace. How are you, Grace?
听不见你说话。你这个
Hi, hello, Billy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm in my friend's house. My son drawing with my friend. I study 2nd floor with you.
Okay. Where is your friend's house? What city?
Philadelphia, the nearby the UPenn.
Oh, okay. All right. And what are your plans for Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah, the
Tuesday.
holiday.
Yeah, 中秋节.
Mid-Autumn Festival.
Oh, I forget it.
Really?
Yeah, because interesting. This morning, my neighbor, he is 犹太人怎么说? I'm not sure.
Jewish.
And he built the temple. in the
Temple?
backyard.
Yeah.
He said that he prepared eating for 1 week. I don't know what does it mean. What does it habits? I know holiday.
Yeah, it's a Jewish holiday. I believe, I'm not sure of the name. I believe it's Rosh Hashanah. And
Sorry, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember either, but there are really around the same time as the Autumn Moon Festival, there are 2 or 3 Jewish holidays, very important Jewish holidays. And one of them is, and I'm going to need Shimei to translate this because I have no idea what it would be. But one is what they call.
May I go to eating whole week?
One of the holiday, yeah. One of the holidays is Day of Atonement. So basically, Shimei, that means their sins, they go to the temple and their sins are forgiven.
哦，就是犹太人那天去他们的庙吧，或者叫他们的教堂，然后他去那天呢，去了之后，他就是去忏悔啊，然后让他们的罪恶得到饶恕。
那为什么我的邻居要搭棚子在那个 yard 里边？然后他说要准备1周的食物，是他分享给别人，还是说他要在那里边吃1周的食物？我不知道为了什么这个他要去拿那个 use wood 去搭这个棚子。I don't know.
That's a different holiday. That is really a feast, very similar to the autumn moon, where they do have family come together and have a big feast.
啊，他说那个是不同的节日，他是为了就是就开一个就是大的聚餐，让家里的亲戚都来聚，就有点像我们中秋这样。反正犹太人有各种节，然后经常就放假。
May I go to join the church?
你说犹太人的吗？
就我可以进犹太人的教堂吗？我需要那个什么吗 ？Make up? I'm not sure.
It depends. The Jewish, they call it a synagogue. So, synagogue. It's they don't. Okay, they don't call it a church. It's called synagogue. Let me put that on the board.
Thank you very much.
他们管他们那个聚会的地方叫 synagogue， 好像都不叫教会。
我们那边有两个教堂，就是犹太人的教堂。
我们这儿也巨多。
Synagogue. And they have some that are what we would call what they call Orthodox, which is very strict, very strict interpretation of the Old Testament.
他们说这个犹太人里面有一种叫做 Orthodox， 就是特别正经的，特别那个，就是根据旧约的那些实行来做，就特别死板，就是这种保守派吧，应该叫。
They may have restrictions on makeup and how to dress. They do have restrictions on how to dress.
他们对于就是用这个化妆品还是怎么穿着都可能有很多的要求。
我不会被打出去吧？
应该不会，反正最多请你出去。
And there are others that are not as strict and would allow you to dress normally. So.
他说其他的就比较自由一些，没有那么多要求，可能你就可以就穿着的比较没有那么多要求。
I like their the traditional habit and the traditional holiday. I like because my neighbor always invent a lot of people, family, friends, and together to eating and talk, party.
Yeah,
I like this big home, big family. I like that.
Yeah. Does your neighbor dress in a black coat and black pants all the time?
No, maybe it's a Sunday or Saturday, and his children and put on the smaller cap.
Yeah,
孩子
that's called a yarmulke.
yarmulke
Yarmulke.
okay
Yes.
就一小帽儿。
right
But I asked about the long black clothes because the long black clothes are the Orthodox Jews.
but I have question why they don't have this. Sometimes I go to the Europe I always saw the this hair compared because this express about the intelligent. So they never don't cut this hair. But my neighbor no hair. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
again, that's Orthodox versus more progressive church. So the Orthodox, yeah,
You
go
go
ahead.
ahead. 他就是
the Orthodox would have that. The progressive church would not.
What does it mean? 他
他
就是说
这个保守的，他可能就不让那个，是不是就不让理
不能
发？
讲这个，他说这是代表智慧，但是我的邻居是没有这个的
那可能你的邻居就是自由派的。
啊。
Okay.
Okay.
Let me go
Thank you.
to Yuchi. Yuchi, it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yuchi was at our party today.
Oh,
So, how are you, Yuchi?
Are you? I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. What will you do on Tuesday?
I will.
No idea.
I
星期二是
我
中秋节，问你怎么做什么准备？
prepare Chinese food
Okay.
for my grandchildren to
Okay.
celebrate the autumn festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is one dish you will prepare? One dish need to some fan.
The
做什么菜？
breast pork
Okay.
and fried fish fillets 还有古老肉
Okay.
Oh, I jealous
古老
you.
肉 yeah my grandchildren very
Okay.
favorite 古老肉
Okay.
古老 yeah
你是用半成品吗？用半成品做的吗？
no 自己做的
Okay.
对
Xiaojun, how are you? One of us is frozen. I think it's Xiaojun because she's not moving at all. So we'll come back. Annie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And what will you do on Tuesday?
This morning, Tuesday, nothing special. Since I don't like moon cake, so maybe my husband will cook some special for me.
Okay. All right. Xiaojun, what about you? How are you? Oops. And
对行
And has problem.
yeah, your
Okay,
sound is
Thank you.
okay. And what will you do Tuesday?
I will make a dinner for my family and eat moon cake. Yeah, at night
Okay.
and see the moon, whole
Yeah.
moon. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the weather's nice. Let me ask Shumei, what are you gonna do on Tuesday?
Tuesday, eat a mooncake, maybe watch a movie with my parents, or maybe dance with them.
Okay. I'll probably meet my sons in Chinatown and we'll go to dinner. both my sons are now students at Drexel. So it'd be easier to meet them there than for them to come home. So we'll probably do that. Before we look at the article today, one of the things I mentioned, okay, I'll give you a little background on this so that you know what I'm talking about. This past week, Tuesday, I was in Philadelphia with a woman I know. She wanted to get a credit card at TD Bank, and we went into the bank. And first of all, they didn't have anyone she's Chinese. They didn't have anyone that spoke Chinese. They did get an interpreter on the phone that was a bad interpreter. But on top of that, there was a lot of things that they were talking about that can get very confusing simply because of our bank structure over here. So what I'm planning on doing is basically a special class on probably on a Thursday night, where we'll talk about really the basic things of banking in the United States. So that will probably happen early in October. So it'll be Thursday night, and like I said, I'll go over the basic things about banking in this country. So I'll let Shumei know that, and she'll send out information. Shumei, I was saying that I do plan on doing a special.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
贝友老师说他碰到一个朋友带他去那个银行，他就发现那个银行虽然提供了翻译，但那个翻译的很差。他就是所以他就觉得有很多人会有这种需要。他决定星期四10月份的有一个星期四晚上，专门开一个课，就是讲这个银行系统啊，怎么去做呀，这些事情。到时候他会把消息发给谭旭梅，然后给大家通知。
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and another thing is, if there's any topics you would like to have a special discussion on, let me know, and I can do those from time to time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have. Recently, I received a ticket about I driver the 罚款怎么说 125
penalty fine.
Right, a lot of
125
money for me.
fine.
I want to know 我为什么被罚了？然后我打电话也不会打，然后我就是被罚款了。我想知道美国罚款都多少钱，怎么分类？
The police should tell you why you got pulled over. You know, if you're
有罚单
speeding
吗？有
or
罚单的
yeah.
吧？
你看那里面罚单他会写，他会打勾会写。
对啊，有罚单吗？
Because I rented the car and the enterprise they give me a note. My credit card in enterprise company, so they did. So I
Okay.
checked it.
So it was a red light or a speeding camera. It wasn't. You didn't get stopped by the police, right?
But I want to know how many, for example, how much?
是警察把你拦下来的吗？
我没有找到，就是我想知道都干什么就会罚多少钱，干什么就会罚多少钱，我以后再也不敢了。
哦，那你就是你当时是罚单寄到家了，还是警察把你拦下来的？
不是，是我租了车，那个租赁公司直接把我的钱给划走了。
Oh, she ran a car, you know.
Right.
It's not her own car. So
我的车被划了，
rental
然后就去
company
修了，然后保险公
just
司给我租了
charge
辆车。
from her credit card
Right, because
directly.
it was a camera, not a
I think
police.
it's camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had to be camera.
Yeah.
So that they have to charge you for that.
125. It looks like speeding. Yeah, penalty.
Yeah. and there's nothing you can do. But the good news is it does not go on your license.
这个不会影响到你的那个驾驶记录，就因为他不知道你的那个驾驶执照嘛，所以不知道是你在开车，所以他就直接从那个租车公司那边，就是罚单那边给他们。
But I want to give me my money. 我
You
想要回我的钱。
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
you
you can't.
I can't.
Or you
No.
didn't stop on a stop sign. They also got a camera
You
on
think
the
it's a
corner.
stop sign and about
Maybe stop, yeah, stop
120.
sign and speeding, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, a red light or speeding, yeah, or even some of the school zones have it. So yeah, that you can't get your money back, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh, so I don't do eating mooncake because it's expensive. I use this money.
Okay, we'll send you some mooncakes. Okay, let's take a look at the.
May I go to your May I go to yours everybody's house to eating this week?
Sure. I have these, and I have these, and I have a few others. And I did mention I like red bean, so most of these are red bean.
Do you like the salty egg yolk in a,
No, that one I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like. It's too dry and not taste good.
Yeah.
I like egg 就是那个有蛋黄在那里边，我不知道
Yeah,
怎么说
egg.
Yeah,
egg in moon in cake.
Yeah.
inside the
I
cake,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the article. We're going to talk about childhood. And we'll read the article, and then as we have done in the past, we'll talk about it. And before we actually read this, let me stop sharing for a second. I'm not sharing, am I? No, I'm not. Okay. Okay. As I mentioned earlier on, Yichi was we did have a party at the church for the Autumn Moon Festival. He was there, and it was really Shumei was there, and it was really nice to be able to get together and really get to see people in person, and I think it helps us all become closer together, closer friends. So I would like to do that some more in the future. Just have a gathering where we can just get together and talk as opposed to doing this online. So, okay. Since Catherine isn't with us, her mom is going to substitute.
Thank you so much.
I'll do what I did to Catherine. Shumei, you teach this. Okay.
How I teach? Where's the material?
Now, what we'll do.
Ichi, you look so. Now I can see you better without the mask.
Okay, so you and I will read this together, and then we'll have the class read it. So you read the first, and I'll read the second.
Do you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed playing hide and seek with my friends.
Did you experience your childhood in a city or countryside?
I spent my childhood in a rural area where I could see vast rice fields.
Did you usually skip class when you were a child?
Yes, I did, and many of my friends did too.
Who were you with when you were a child?
I was with my beloved family.
What did you want to be when you were a child?
I dreamed of being a fashion designer.
Who did you love the most when you were a child?
Let me scroll. I love my mom and I love my mom the most since she was always there and took care of me.
Who was your childhood hero?
Robin Hood. He took money from the rich and gave to the poor.
What reminds you of your childhood?
Green rice fields, which I happen to see everywhere, remind me of my beautiful childhood.
Did you change a lot when you grew up?
Yes, of course. I'm more mature now, both physically and mentally.
Why is your childhood important?
Because it shapes people into who they will become. Okay, before we read that, just a couple of things. Don't know if kids play this in China, hide and seek. So really what all that is, of course, it's a kid's game where one child covers his eyes.
Yeah, we do
Okay, all right.
a lot.
Good, yeah. Then the others hide. Very hard to do that in the rural areas like this kid did, but okay. Where do you hide? One of the things I have a feeling that, the last time we had an article on really on the festival was he was talking about New Year's being the most important one. And I said that one sounded like it was written in the for the United States. This doesn't, because we don't have really all that many rice fields. So I'm not sure what this was, but I mean, I've actually visited the countryside in China during really the planting season, as well as the growing season and even the harvest season. And the rice fields are really beautiful. A lot of work. Farmers do a lot of work to grow that rice, but they are beautiful to look at. Usually skip class, different word for that is cut class, just means you decide not to go to class. And I don't know if Shimei was told this by Catherine. She may be told this by Rebecca later on. Rebecca's 10th grade, so maybe 2 years from now. There is an unofficial senior cut day at the high schools where all the seniors decide they're not going to go to school on one day.
Yeah, my daughter did that.
Your daughter did that.
They go to beach.
Yeah, it's like I said, unofficial. Usually it's right after their spring trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think American good kids, they always go to school.
Some of them do. I mean, my sons, when they were younger, always went to school. As they got a little older, they tended to tell me they were sick. I don't know if they were, but they told me they were sick. Okay. And are you familiar with Robin Hood?
Yeah, Robin
Yes.
Hood. I read that story before.
Okay. Yeah, as it says, it's really a fictional story about a man that basically lived in the woods in England, and it would steal money from the rich people and give it to the poor people.
Isn't that real story?
No, it may be based on an actual person, but it's not a real story.
Yeah, we do have same character in China.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
They put this into a movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can watch the movie of this.
Do you know what a parody or a spoof is? Let me put that on the board.
Parody. You say
Parody.
parody, right? Yeah.
No.
parody.
Yeah, there's a difference between parody and parody. Spoof. Parody, basically the same. Parody and spoof is a movie that takes the original story and makes fun of it. So there was one movie called Robin Hood Men in Tights, because all the men back then wore tights, and so they made fun of that. So you might hear the term parody or spoof. It's just a movie that makes fun of a story. Okay, and I think that was it on what I wanted to discuss about the article. Let me see. Okay. I guess I'll have you guys read this. Some of these questions seem kind of odd in terms of their sequence. I mean, he asked, did you experience childhood in the city or countryside? Then the next question is, do you usually skip school? Doesn't really follow the flow of a conversation, but that's what it is. Okay, so let me go to Grace. You read the first line. Annie, you read the second.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed playing hide and seek with my friends.
Did you experience your children here? Oh no， 老师这个 childhood
Childhood.
childhood
Child.
childhood
Yes.
childhood in a city or countryside.
I spent my childhood in a rural area where I could see vast rice fields.
Did you usually skip class when you were a child?
Yes, I did, and many of my friends did too.
Who were you with when you were a child?
I was with my beloved family.
What did you want to be when you were a child?
I dreamed of being a fashion designer.
Did you love the master when you were a child?
I'm going to scroll.
I loved my mom the most since she was always there and took care of me.
Who was your childhood hero?
Robin Hood. He took money from the rich and gave it to the poor.
What reminds you What reminds you of your childhood?
Green rice fields, which I happen to see everywhere, remind me of my beautiful childhood.
Did you change a lot when you grow up?
Yes, of course. I'm more mature now, both physically and mentally.
Why is childhood important?
Because it shapes people into who they will become.
Okay. And Xiaojian and Lisan.
Yes.
So Xiaojian, you read the first line.
Okay. Did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did.
Hold on. Okay.
playing.
Hold on 1 second. Shimei. Okay. I have to. Someone is at my door, so hold on 1 moment.
Okay.
老师干嘛去了？
有人敲他家门，他去
他的
开
门
门。
有人在他的
那个
门。
那个就是叫那个 childhood，就是那个 D 和 H 要念得很清楚吗
Childhood，
Child，
？Child，那个的不发音对吧
childhood，
？Childhood，
那个音要
哎
做出发音的
哎呀
动作，留出发音的时间，这个叫不爆破。
Childhood，
child 那个的不出来对吗？Childhood，
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. More mooncakes. Okay, where were we? I'm sorry. Xiaozhen and Li Sam were reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go back to the top. So, Xiaozhen?
Okay. Did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed playing hide and seek with my friends.
Did you experience your childhood in the city or countryside?
I spent my childhood in a rural area where I could see vast rice fields.
Did you usually skip class when you were a child?
Yes, I did, and many of my friends did too.
Who were you with when you were a child?
I was with my beloved family.
What did you want to be when you were a child?
I dreamed of being a fashion designer.
Who did you love the most when you were a child?
Gonna scroll. Lisa, I love my mom.
Pardon, I lost the screen. Okay,
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Anna, can you hear me?
Yes, very
Okay.
clear.
I loved my
Yeah.
mom
Okay.
the most since she was always there and took care of me.
Who was your childhood hero?
Hero.
Robin Hood, he took money from the rich and gave it to the poor.
What reminds you of your childhood?
Green rice fields, which I happen to see everywhere, remind me of my beautiful childhood.
Did you change a lot when you grew up?
Yes, of course. I'm more mature now, both physically and mentally.
Why is childhood is important?
Because it shapes people into who they will become.
I'm gonna read this with Yuchi. So Yuchi, you read the first line, I'll read the second line.
Did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed playing hide and seek with my friends.
Did you experience your childhood in a city or countryside?
I spent my childhood in rural areas where I could see vast rice fields.
Did you usually skip class when you were a child?
Yes, I did, and many of my friends did too.
Who were you with when you were a child?
I was with my beloved family.
What did you want to be when you were a child?
I dreamed of being a fashion designer.
Who did you love the most when you were a child?
I loved my mom the most since she was always there and took care of me.
Who was your childhood hero?
Robin Hood. He took money from the rich and gave it to the poor.
What reminds you of your childhood?
Green rice fields, which I happen to see everywhere, remind me of my beautiful childhood.
Did you change a lot when you grew up?
Yes, of course. I'm more mature now, both physically and mentally.
Why is childhood important?
Because it shapes people into who they will become. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because my son just looked in the bag with the additional rice cakes and he's laughing. It's like, what are we gonna do with these rice cakes? The moon cakes, rather. Okay, we do have a lot of them now. Okay, I do want to kind of go into some of the questions. Rather than ask if you have a happy, yeah, I can ask that. Sorry. So first question is on this is, did you have a happy childhood? And if I were to answer that myself, my answer would be no. Partly because I was part of a big family. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So I was the third child. So I was kind of lost. The oldest one was the, in a sense, what we would call the pet of the family, the one most loved. The young, it's a boy. The girl also kind of fell in that category because she was a girl. And then the youngest one because he was the youngest. So I was, like I said, kind of lost in that number of people. So Annie, did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What about you, Xiaojian?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Lisa?
Yes, I did, but that's during the Cultural Revolution. I suffered some too. I had to separate from my parents and went to live with my grandma and uncle aunt in another city.
Okay. Is that because your parents were sent to like a what they call re-education camp?
Oh, you know China so well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I went with them in that camp. They call it a 5-7 carders school, the school for the card. I
Yeah,
went there 1 year with them, and almost semi uneducated at that time because no school for us to go. But the next year they set up a school with 3 teachers, and they put all of us together in one class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually I know several people that were sent to the re-education camps, mostly because they were educators, what generally translated to scholars. So they were hit the hardest by the Cultural Revolution.
But the good thing is in the re-education camp, we could be with our parents, and only after that camp, my mom was sent to the border area. It's according to at that time our vice chairman's policy. It's called the safe border policy.
Yeah.
So she couldn't take care of us then.
Right.
My parents sent us, one of my younger sister, to the capital city with my grandmother and aunt and uncle for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Grace? Did you have a happy childhood?
Yes, this is the best experiences in my life.
Okay. And Yuchi, what about you?
Yes, I did.
All right. And I'll ask Shimei, what about you? Or maybe she's not there.
Okay. Childhood is, yeah, it's good. Have fun.
Okay. Before I move on, was anyone else affected by the Cultural Revolution?
No, because I'm very young, because I not remember this attempts.
Yeah. Yuchi, what about you? Were you affected by the Cultural Revolution?
Revolution 就是文化大革命。
是的。
Oh, sorry.
考验你
有没有
年龄的时候到。
叫他是什么？
他说你
文革的时候，
你小时候有没有对文革对你生活有没有影响？
有影响。
Yes.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay. Annie?
No.
Okay. Xiaojian?
No.
Okay. All right. What about you, Shimei? What about you or your mom?
My parents was affected, but not by the Cultural Revolution. There's another movement before the Cultural Revolution.
100 Flowers or Great Leap?
Oh, I don't know exact names. You know so many names. I don't know. Next time.
When was it?
反右. I don't know. I don't know 反右 how to translate in English.
Anti-right set movement.
Yeah, it's kind of against the right political right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure if it's the same as what they call the 100 Flowers movement, which was in the 1950s.
Probably,
No,
yeah,
this,
around that time.
This is 1958.
It sounds like 100 Flowers.
No, 1958 is the entire political right.
Okay.
Left and right, they call it right.
Okay. All right. China has a very interesting history in that period. Okay. Next question is, did you experience your childhood in a city or countryside? And for me, it was actually in a what we call suburban, which is very similar to places like Cherry Hill, Marlton, and areas like that. So wasn't a city, but houses were closer together than they would be in a rural area. So, Yuchi,
Okay.
did you was your childhood, were you raised in a city or a countryside?
I spent my childhood in the backward small city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xiaozhen?
Yeah, I live in the country side. Yeah, it's my
Okay.
parents. My parents worked there.
Okay. Lisanne?
Yes, before was in the city. Then the camp was on the farm.
Right. Yeah.
Then went back to the city with my grandma.
Okay. What about you, Annie?
I spent my childhood in a small city.
Okay. And Grace?
Yes.
Your childhood,
Okay, please.
was your childhood in the city or in the countryside?
City and the 四合院怎么说 ？Crowd yard。四合院
Courtyard.
是四合院，我不知道怎么说。
Courtyard.
Courtyard.
Court? Let me put that on the board.
Courtyard 还是
Yeah.
是吗
Right.
？Courtyard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I answered them.
Courtyard. Okay.
This is kind of a odd question. Like I said, I'm just doing this in the order it's here. I'm going to change it just a little bit. Did you skip school when you were a child? And for me, the answer is yes. In the United States, they've changed it somewhat, but in the United States, you could skip school, and you could next day you could go in with a note from your parent saying that you were sick or was some kind of holiday or something. And there were days where I just didn't want to go to school, so I did what my kids do or did. I don't feel good, and my parents would let me stay home.
Why? Why?
It's just I never really liked school, at least when I was young. You know, it's really was the same thing. Same thing every day. You go to school, you'd sit in class until you had a special activity, be it art, phys ed, library. Go back to class, go to lunch, go back to class, and sit there all day. So it was boring. I prefer moving around. So one thing I've always said is there are some people who love cruises, going on cruises. I could never go on a cruise. I don't like being restricted. I prefer walking outside. So
You can go once.
yeah, I don't know. All right. Let me go to Grace. Did you ever skip school?
I want, but I don't. I want to do, but my mother and my father hate me, so I don't do that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not to try, because in China, a lot of the students, the young students, elementary the students, very 听话，我不知道怎么说。
Obedient.
Obedient. Yeah.
Behave.
And they wanted to, they wanted to the better students, so everybody go to school is early.
Yeah.
But I'm always later, because sometimes I play with my friends and I forgot the time. So my teacher always talk about this to my mother and my father. So I come back home, my mother very angry,
Yeah.
angry, and hit my hand.
Yeah.
And 我屁股不会说
Ass.
Ass.
Kick your ass.
Yeah.
I always about every week I get it. I got it.
Every week. Wow.
Yeah, because I'm very 我是一个非常
Naughty.
调皮的
Yeah, naughty.
Norris 的 student.
Yeah. I actually have a niece that also, she's a lot better now, but she was also very naughty in school. And the teacher was always calling her mom. And the one time, I don't know, she got in trouble for something. Her teacher sent home a note to her mom, and my niece signed the note. Brought it back.
我没听懂
Very smart. Very smart.
That's naughty kids always do.
Yes. Can you like Grace know what I just?
就是他那个他侄子还是外甥吧，就是在学校做了
侄
女niece 他侄女在学校做了坏事，可能老师就写了一张字条让他回去给家长签字嘛，他就自己签，再带回去给老师。
My son sometimes do that in America.
Okay. Yuchi, what about you? Did you ever skip school?
No, I didn't. I never skipped class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annie?
I never skipped school.
Okay. Xiaozhen?
No, I have not. I have never thought that I can skip class.
Okay. Lisa?
Well,
Lisa?
see, I
No.
choose to do just to went to school on time.
Yeah. All right. Lisa?
No, I liked going to school because for several months we couldn't go to school. I
Yeah.
stayed even longer at school.
Okay. What about you, Shirley? Did you ever skip school?
Maybe once or twice. I don't remember.
What about Catherine and Rebecca?
I don't think they skip school. They
Okay.
are very good kids.
Okay. All right. Grace, it's just you and me then.
我觉得贼心里就贼胆儿
Okay. This is kind of an obvious question, but I'll ask it anyway. And actually, it's interesting because of Lisanne's answer. But who were you with when you were a child? And again, for me, it was my parents, my mom and dad, and my 5 brothers and 2 sisters. But because we were such a big family, my dad had to work a lot. So he would usually go to work at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning and sometimes not come home until 8 or 9 at night. So even though we were with him, we weren't with him. If you know what I mean. You know, the times that we were awake, he was not really home. he got home and it was almost time for us to go to sleep. So, all right. So what about you, Xiaojian? Who were you with?
I was with my grandmother when I was 3 to 6 years old. After that, I was with my parents and my brother. I only have a brother. Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, I'll ask you this. You said from 3 to 6 you were with your grandmother,
Yeah.
and then
3 to 6.
after that you were with your parents. Who
Yes.
had a bigger influence on you, your grandmother or your parents?
My grandmother.
I'm really not surprised at that. My kids spent their young years with their grandmother. First with Devin, he went over to China for a year, and then he came back and his grandma came over here. And then Tim spent a couple of years in China with his grandma, and then again she came back and spent a couple of years with him here, and she had a very big influence on them. She's got a wonderful personality, very kind, very caring woman, and as I mentioned last week, they're like that too.
Yes.
Okay, so what about you, Annie? Who did you spend?
Yeah, I was with my parents, my grandma, and my brother.
Okay, so same question. Who do you think had the biggest influence on you?
My parents, my grandma.
Yeah.
I think 3 of them.
Okay, and that's possible depending on the time and really what they're like and now what you are like. So, okay, Lisanne, what about you? Who did you spend your childhood with?
Parents, mostly grandma, parents, aunt, and uncle.
Okay, and who was the biggest influence?
Grandma, I think.
And Yuchi?
I was with my brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many brothers?
2.
Okay. Older or younger?
Younger, older, and how do you?
Okay. So did your older brother have a big influence on you?
My brother, then two, my brother, 比我大，怎么说？比我大2岁。
older than you.
2 years older than you.
2 years older than you.
Yeah.
Oh, older 2 years.
2 years older than me.
My young brother, 小呢？不是
Younger.
3 years.
3 years younger.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Grace, what about you? Who had the who did you grow up with?
Actually, the week from Monday to Friday, I live with my grandma, grandpa, and then every week, every Friday, I buy 3 lengths the bus, come back my parents the home, because my mother and my father is very busy, and I have a young sister with my father and my mother. So I studied in international school in nearby my grandmother's house. So I had to live with my grandmother, grandfather.
Yeah. I did mention my niece and her put it this way, her activities in school. But she of course now is older, and she's a lot more mature. We'll talk about that in a moment, but she actually was raised by her grandma. A good part of the time she was, her mom was in Japan, working and studying. So her grandma raised her, and she is a lot like her grandma, in terms of really how she cares for people, how she her whole personality is really her grandma, and it's really good to see that. Okay. This is an interesting question. What did you want to be when you were a child? And my answer to that would probably be going back. Hard to think back that far, but my answer to that would probably be a baseball player. Now, I found out shortly, probably when I was around 10 or 11 years old, that I would not be very good at it, but I still wanted to do it. So, Grace, what did you want to be?
Me?
Yes.
No, no idea. When I were a child, I
Okay.
just play. I know to say anything.
Okay. All right. Fair answer.
Yeah. It's true. I don't hear or don't do anything and influence me. I just play. No goals.
Okay.
In my chart.
All right. What about you, Yuchi? What did you want to be?
I dreamed of being a pilot,
Okay.
but no success.
Okay. I don't think most people have very much success in what they dream to be and what they wind up being. Okay, Xiaojun, what about you?
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor, but actually I entered a bank of China.
Okay. Yeah, very different field. Okay.
Yes.
To be honest, I never thought about it when I was a child.
Okay. So this really is for Grace and Annie. So your parents never tried to, let's put it this way, tried to influence you?
No.
Okay, interesting. Grace?
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents try to influence you?
我的父亲影响了我的家人，影响了我，是这意思吗？
对，他问你有没有，就是对你职业选择有没有干涉你，引导你。
My father gave me a good idea about, because I like drawing and painting. My father talk about maybe you try this area, but I don't. But my father and my mother don't like the just painting this job.
All right.
So they suggested to the designer something.
Okay. All right. So they you wanted to or you they talked about you being an artist.
That's also because my father is就是我的父亲是不能叫科学家，反正是做研究的，在中国。I'm not sure.
Researcher.
Please.
Researcher.
Or something. Save the water in Beijing. This is important. The project.
Yeah.
My father responsibility to save the water for the Beijing. So he looking for a lot of the building is around the build. So we talk about it as a builder, so influence my vision. So maybe I do something is comfortable for the any the 市政设施 I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So
comfortable the people's life, the water, gas, the trash, and something in the building is 方便.
yeah, and really like environmental engineer.
Yeah. So and I like design something. So my father talk about it. Maybe you try to do that.
Yeah. Okay. And just out of curiosity, Shirmei, what about you? What did you want to be?
I want to be I want to play volleyball because when I young, I saw the Japanese TV episode.
Okay. And you wound up in doing research, so
Yeah.
okay. All right. Who did you love most when you were a child? I would have to say, for me, probably my mother, simply because at least when I was younger, she was home with us. When I got to about middle school, she started working. So she was working from around 5 o'clock in the evening till 10 o'clock at night. So really just after we got home from school, she would go to work. But prior to that, she was home all day. And as I mentioned before, my father wasn't. So in a lot of ways, I don't really know him. You know, that's just the truth. Lisa.
My grandparent, my grandma.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Xiaojuan?
Yes, me too. I loved my grandmother the best because she was lovely and took care of me carefully.
You know, the funny thing about that with my mother-in-law, like I said, she's very much like that, and both my sons really adore her, and she's really the kind of person I would want as a mother. It's, you know, it's just I of course I didn't meet her until, you know, I went to China, but even when I was in China, there weren't a lot of foreigners in that particular area. China was just opening up. There was, as you probably know, there was some prejudice against foreigners. But she accepted me immediately. It was just, it's like I said, a wonderful person. So, Annie, what about you?
My grandma and my parents, 3 of them.
Okay. All right. Yuchi?
I loved my mom the most since she made clothes for us every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grace?
Mm-hmm.
Who who did you love the most when you were a child?
I loved my grandma because grandma had a smaller feet, but she very care for me. She always stand in front of the door, a courtyard door, and waiting for me come back.
Okay. When you said she had smaller feet, did she have bound feet where they would wrap the feet in basically in cloth so they could not grow?
Sorry, I don't understand what that means.
老师说，对，是跛脚吗？
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Because my grandma is是满族人。I'm not sure.
哦，满族。
minority.
That is, yeah, that was a very painful thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
For my grandma, it's a very pain, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Every night, she used the hot water to 用热水去 about
Relieve, yeah, to
long
try to
time, right.
try to relieve the pain. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
torture.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You know-
I often to help my grandma to bought the something for example 豆汁儿 and the food and the meat and the sauce from the small smart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for me, I've read a lot about this stuff, but I never actually knew anybody that even knew someone that had that, and to actually hear about that, you know, in a sense, as a witness to it, it's just unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know, right. Me too. When I younger, I don't understand that mean. But when I grow up, I know my grandma is experience the pain time. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma's father. So that's my great grandpa, right?
Yeah.
So he used to ask my grandma to do such thing, but my
Wow.
grandma refused. So,
Good.
yeah.
May I ask why would someone ask to do that?
I think it's like you know, in China in that period, the big family.
Yeah.
When you have a big family and the father always asks his daughter to do this thing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's-
I understand that, but I mean, was it considered beautiful or something?
not beautiful. It means
Yeah,
大
yeah.
家闺秀怎么说？
It's because if you feet is smaller, you don't stand is 稳定怎么说呢？不能站稳。So your body is
婀娜多姿。
right.
Okay.
It's a traditional
the
idea.
concept
I'm not sure.
of graceful. To be
Graceful. Okay.
graceful woman. Yeah.
All right. I guess maybe because I'm a foreigner that's foreign to this culture. I just don't see it. I mean,
It's a bad idea, I think so.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it
Yeah.
certainly
very
is.
bad.
Yeah. All right. Who was your childhood hero? And this person said Robin Hood. I would say for me, probably Superman.
Superman. Okay.
There used to be a TV show on every week called Superman, plus the comic book. So that was probably my childhood hero. Grace, who's your childhood hero?
Nobody know. when younger, because I'm not to see TV when I young children, because the TV is very 就很少怎么说 For
Small.
example,
Very few channels. Yeah.
about the five or six family, get one TV.
Yeah.
So a lot of people outside and together to see the
Okay.
TV. But I don't care this one because I don't interested in this. So I always to play with my my friends and around and do anything. So I don't like to watch the TV.
Yeah. There was also very few channels on in China.
Yeah, only two
Yeah.
TV channels.
When I was there, there
I'm
were
not
3
sure.
channels.
Mhm.
I'm not sure because this TV show is limited and the
Yeah.
CCTV and something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Mm.
'Cause when I was there, you could watch during the day. You could watch Beijing Opera. You could watch.
Yeah,
My grandpa very like it because he always listen from the radio.
Yeah. You could also.
Radio, right? Video.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
could also watch usually a Chinese war movie.
war movie. Chinese war movie 什么意思啊？
抗战片，
抗日战争的小兵张嘎
抗战片，
地大战。
Yeah.
Yeah. War. Oh,
Yeah.
but I'm a girl. I don't like this.
And
I don't like gun. I don't like gun. I don't like shoulder. I don't like warm.
yeah.
War. I like the. I don't like that one.
Yeah. And the other option was usually soccer or football. So what's not a lot to watch. Okay. Yuchi.
Okay.
Who was your childhood hero?
"英雄，你小时候的英雄是谁呀？
声音没打开。好像听不见，那个声音好像没开。
Oh,
There you go.
when I was younger, the hero is in my mind in Chinese, China's Lei Feng.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
we were
Since
educated
he often
like that.
help others. Okay, that's okay.
Okay. And Xiaozhen, who is your hero?
I think it was Chairman Mao because he stopped the war and created the People Republic of China.
Annie?
My father.
Okay. I like that one.
Yeah, my father, he's very handy. He can fix and make everything in our house. So
Yeah.
that's my hero.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
Lisanne, what about you? Lisanne,
Yes.
who was your hero?
Now I have a question. Childhood is before what age? What's the dividing line?
The dividing line legally is 18.
18th?
Yes.
But after 13, teenager is also childhood.
Like I said, legal. You are a child until you are 18 years old.
I see.
So
So before going to school, didn't know anything. But after we went to school, we were educated to have the heroes just like Lei Feng, and also the heroines. We have those good examples, just like two sisters and Plato, 草原英雄小姐妹。
草原英雄小姐妹。
Two heroic sisters and Plato. Yeah. But
Okay.
nowadays I read the article about the younger sister. Now she will be sentenced to jail because of the corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of that's going on now in China. Okay. What reminds you of your childhood? To me, what reminds me of my childhood really is summer, the warm weather, and primarily because once we got to summer, we did not have school, and so at that time, if you were not in school, you didn't have video games. There really wasn't a lot on TV either. Mostly TV here in the morning was game shows, things like that. So most of the time we were outside in the summer, we were playing. Usually me, my brothers, and our neighbors would play baseball together. So the warm weather of summer, the flowers and things along that remind me of my childhood. So Grace, what reminds you of your childhood?
Sorry, what? Please again.
What reminds you of your childhood?
I I have interest in sorry. I am a leader in my friends. I always lead my friends to use long bamboo poles, you know,
Yeah, okay.
to steal persimmons. You know, this fruit. Persimmon.
Persimmon.
Persimmon. Persimmons.
Let me put that on the board.
Persimmons from other people's backyard.
When you were skipping school, you did that.
and then I ran the faster. I get a lot of the
persimmon 柿子啊，
对，柿子。persimmon.
Yes, okay.
give me my grandmother, because my grandmother's teeth no good. This vegetable for my grandmother is very good because it's softer and then big, and I put on the
windowsill, yes.
Windowsill, and use the sunshine, and very, very sweet.
Yeah. So they ripen, yeah. Okay.
So,
all right, what about? Oh, go ahead.
So this interesting stories, because when I grew up, I know my neighbor is very, very nice for me, because they know I steal this persimmon, but they allow way to do that.
Okay.
Very, very interesting. I always use the big one, the bamboo
pole
to do that.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was a boy, no girl.
Okay.
Tomboy, we call this tomboy, right?
Yes, tomboy. Yes.
Yeah. Tomboy.
Yeah.
So this for me is interesting.
Yeah. As they were saying, there's an expression in English is tomboy is a girl that's more like a boy that does things that boys do. So you were a tomboy.
假小子.
Yeah, tomboy. Yeah.
Yuchi, what about you?
When I play with kids.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Xiaozhen?
Find my childhood friend last year that We have never seen each other for more than 40 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, remind me of my beautiful childhood. Yeah. We have lived in the same house for 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, Annie.
There was a brook near close to my grandma's house, so I always go near pray with my friends during summer break.
Yeah. Okay. Lisa.
Going swimming. Because at that time, in the camp and that farm campus, we didn't have swimming pools. I learned swimming in a small, what do we call that? A small pond and a big reservoir.
Okay. Yeah.
My parents taught me that.
Okay. The next question may be a little hard to answer. It's actually our last question. They put it, did you change a lot when you grew up? And of course, the answer to that is yes. But what do you think is the biggest change in terms of who you were as a child and who you are now? And for me, I think the biggest difference is I am a lot more patient, and I don't get as upset or angry now as I did when I was a child. So I'm really actually, in a sense, two different people. So what about you, Lisanne? Biggest difference between now and when you were a child?
The difference is the appearance.
Okay.
Right? Because at that time, we were young and full of sunshine.
Yeah.
But now I'm over 60. So physically, it's the appearance. Mentally, it's much mature now.
Okay.
And less ambitious.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we saw a picture of you as a child, would we be able to know it was you?
If 15 or 18, yes, but before 10 years old, no.
Okay. All right, Shajan, what about you? Biggest change?
Big change. And I think is be a patient for everybody.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's something we don't do very well as kids. Yuchi, what about you?
Important?
No. What is the biggest change between you now and you as a child?
最大的改变。
Yes.
你最大的改变是什么？小时候跟现在。
这性格上的改变。性格。
Personality, characteristic, right?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, yeah, personality. I just learned that word actually. I never knew. I never knew what it was, and I wanted to ask somebody what their son was like. I didn't know the Chinese word for it. I just learned that. Okay. Annie, what about you?
When I grew up, I'm taller than my parents. Yeah, I'm more mature, more patient, more considerate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, and it's true of me too. A lot of kids, I think, want to be taller than their parents. So, all right. Anybody have any questions?
No.
No, thanks.
All right, then everyone enjoy the Autumn Moon Festival. And I will see you next Sunday.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you next
Okay.
Sunday.
You too.
Okay,
Thank you.